RTM urges investors and financiers to turn to Asia. 2 Air Force personnel killed in training accident. Hello and good afternoon. You're watching Updates at Noon with me, Mohanapriya. Investors and financiers will risk losing out by not turning towards Asia. According to Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, Asia is endowed with vast amounts of natural resources, potential renewable energy and a growing population that is not averse to co-innovation and is increasingly appreciative of a green economy. Elaborating further, he said there is potential for the region to develop as a player in the net zero value chain in as much as the rich biodiversity resources and a high percentage of forest cover offer abundant nature-based solutions. In addition to developing hydrogen, carbon capture and storage, CCS, opportunities for storing carbon, with the innovation of batteries and electric storage well underway, Datuk Seri Anwar said there is also an opportunity to develop the rare earth minerals and establish a conducive ecosystem to strengthen supply chain. The Premier said this in his keynote address at Energy Asia 2023 in Kuala Lumpur today. The Prime Minister said developing these resources and potential requires access to financing, technology and innovation, the right policy frameworks and skill sets for the future. Khazanah Nasional Berhad is set to create a new green investment platform to attract more direct investment locally and from abroad. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the initiative is aimed at helping local companies, especially Bumiputra firms, which would also result in more high-quality jobs for the people. According to Datuk Seri Anwar, the matter was discussed during the 3rd Khazanah Board of Directors meeting for 2023 held a few days ago, with Khazanah's role in national development efforts also thoroughly looked into. In a Facebook post, the meeting also discussed the importance of implementing a sustainable energy transition plan to ensure economic sustainability. Datuk Seri Anwar, who is also the Minister of Finance and Chairman of Khazanah, said the meeting's main discussion was on investments by Khazanah to strengthen the domestic economic ecosystem. He said with Khazanah's involvement, the initiative could help develop local workforce talent and increase the country's capability and competitiveness. Meanwhile, the Premier said Khazanah would continue to work with the government through the Advancing Malaysia strategy to be in line with the country's economic development goals. Rakan Demokrasi and Rakan Lita are the latest lifestyles to be included in the revamped Rakan Muda lineup launched yesterday. Youth and Sports Minister Hannah Yeoh said the introduction of Rakan Demokrasi goes hand in hand with the previous administration's decision to lower the voting age, allowing those 18 and above to vote.
Itu adalah hasrat kita untuk semua platform ataupun agensi kerajaan yang mempunyai program untuk belia, semua sama-sama kita perkembangkan rakan muda. Kita bagi jaminan setiap belia yang mempunyai minat, dia akan dapat jumpa satu gaya hidup yang sesuai.
The minister said this during a media conference after the launching of the 10 new Rakan Muda lifestyles by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim at Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia yesterday. The 2 new lifestyles joining the existing 8 lifestyles that have been revamped: Rakan Aktif, Rakan Bumi, Rakan Digital, Rakan Ekspresi, Rakan Music, Rakan Mahir, Rakan Niaga and Rakan Prihatin. Hannah expressed hope that the revamped Rakan Muda initiative would attract more youth to participate, with the program having a target of over 1 million participants between the ages of 15 and 30. The government is hoping to produce more skilled instructors to teach technical and vocational education and training or TVET programs. Human Resources Ministry's Secretary General Datuk Sri Dr. Zaini Ujang said this is in line with Malaysia's aim of producing 35% of skilled workers by the year 2030. Elaborating further, he said this target could help the country reduce its dependency on foreign workforce. Other than that, it could also produce skilled human capital that is knowledgeable, responsive and competitive.
Kita nak jadi negara yang 35% pekerja mahir menjelang 2030 dan untuk lebih maju kita harus lebih daripada 50%. Ya, di negara-negara maju lebih pada 50% pekerja mereka adalah pekerja mahir. Bila mahir maknanya gaji yang lebih tinggi, produktiviti yang lebih tinggi dan yang juga penting sumbangan kepada negara semakin meningkat.
Datuk Sri Dr. Zaini said this after attending a convocation ceremony at the Centre for Instructor and Advanced Skill Training, SIAST. The Fisheries Department has received 6.5 million ringgit in allocations from the federal government. Fisheries Department Director General Dato' Adnan Hussein said this allocation is for artificial reef development and monitoring in the waters of Peninsula Malaysia and Sabah from 2021 to 2023.
Pada tahun ini, peruntukan yang disediakan oleh Jabatan Perikanan untuk melabuhkan tukun ini adalah sebanyak 1.5 juta di seluruh negara, iaitu melibatkan 5 perairan negeri, iaitu perairan Kelantan, perairan Terengganu, Johor, Kedah dan juga Selangor. Dan insya-Allah 2 minggu lagi kita akan melabuhkan tukun yang sama di perairan Kelantan. Dan program tukun tiruan ini sebenarnya adalah satu program yang penting untuk nelayan-nelayan tempatan. Sebagai yang pertamanya sebagai habitat pengurusan sumber perikanan dan yang keduanya adalah untuk bertindak sebagai penghalang kepada pencerobohan vessel-vessel pukat tunda.
Dato' Adnan said this after a reef sinking program off the waters of Pulau Kapas with the Terengganu State Exco, Dr. Azman Ibrahim, in attendance. He said the reef would address the issue of declining fish stocks and would benefit 8,635 fishermen in Terengganu. Meanwhile, Dr. Azman said that cooperation between the unity government and the state government was vital to ensure the continued economic success of the fisheries sector, especially in Terengganu that has an exclusive economic zone of 87 square kilometres. Still to come, Aitawa murder suspect arrested. Stay tuned. The Royal Malaysian Air Force RMAF confirmed that 2 of its personnel were killed while 1 trainer was injured in the Syed Sirajuddin camp, Gemas, yesterday afternoon. In a statement, RMAF said the incident occurred at about 12:10 p.m. when the personnel were undergoing support weapon and hand grenade training at the basic grenade training site. Institute of Administration and Management Studies INSTAR student, Aircraftman 1 Muhammad Iqmal Mazdi, 22, was confirmed dead at the scene, while trainer Corporal Shuib Bidin, 33, died at 5:45 p.m. while being treated due to severe injuries at the Segamat Hospital. The other trainer, Corporal Khairu Zaman Lokman, 35, is currently receiving treatment at the Segamat Hospital, Johor, and is in stable condition. Air Force Chief General Tan Sri Datuk Sri Muhammad Ashgar Khan Goriman Khan and the top RMAF leadership expressed their grief over the incident and sent their condolences to the families of the deceased members. The RMAF has contacted the next of kin of those involved and handed the case over to the police. It added that the force would set up an investigation board to identify the cause of the incident. As such, RMAF urged all parties not to make any speculation until the investigation process is completed and to respect the sensitivity of the families of the personnel involved. Police arrested a foreign woman who is believed to have slashed the head of an acquaintance who was found dead in an oil palm estate near a sawmill in Aitawa, Manjung on Saturday. Perak Police Chief Datuk Sri Muhammad Yusri Hassan Basri said police received a call regarding the discovery of a 38-year-old man's body at 5:15 p.m. In a statement, he said preliminary investigation at the crime scene discovered that the man was found unconscious, lying on the ground with several slash wounds on his body. Datuk Sri Muhammad Yusri said the postmortem carried out yesterday found that the cause of death was due to profuse bleeding as a result of slash wounds from a sharp weapon and a slash wound to the head. He added that police then arrested the woman in the Aitawa area at about 3:30 a.m. on Sunday. The suspect has been remanded until 1st of July to assist in investigations under Section 302 of the Penal Code. Over in Kelantan, police found the body of a man with his hands and feet tied in an empty house that was being renovated in Taman Kota Kubang Labu Tumpat at 3 p.m. yesterday. Tumpat Police Chief ACP Amran Dollah said the body was found by a construction worker who noticed a foul stench while doing renovation works in the house. He then informed the house owner of the discovery and lodged a police report. Preliminary investigations found that the victim had died not more than 3 days ago. The unidentified body was sent to Tumpat Hospital for a postmortem, and the case is being investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code. Honduras after shooting leaves 11 dead. That and more coming up in the following segment. Honduras President Xiomara Castro on Sunday declared a curfew in Coloma, where suspected hitmen hired by drug traffickers shot and killed 11 people in a billiard hall. The mass shooting took place in the second largest city of the country, plagued by poverty, gang violence and drug trafficking, all of which are fueling a desperate exodus north towards Mexico and ultimately the United States. According to witnesses, the victims were celebrating a birthday party in the hall when gunmen entered and opened fire. A spokesman for the National Police, Miguel Martinez, said 10 men and a woman were killed. Castro said on Twitter the curfew in Coloma and San Pedro Sula will be in effect starting Sunday from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Castro said she was acting after the brutal and ruthless terrorist attack by hired killers trained and directed by drug lords in a troubled area called the Sula Valley. The attack came a week after a vicious battle between rival gangs left at least 46 women dead in a prison near the capital Tegucigalpa. That outburst of violence erupted when members of the Barrio 18 gang burst into an area housing the rival Mara Salvatrucha or MS-13 group, shot at them and set the place on fire. The chief of the rebel Wagner mercenary force will go to Belarus and will not face charges after calling off his troops' advance on Moscow, the Russian government said, easing the country's most serious security crisis in decades. The feud between Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin and Russia's military brass came to a violent head in the past day, with his forces capturing a key army headquarters in southern Russia on Saturday and then heading north to threaten the capital. Within hours of Prigozhin's about-face, the Kremlin announced he would leave for Belarus and Russia would not prosecute him or Wagner's members. It had been a dramatic day, with President Vladimir Putin warning against civil war, Moscow telling locals to stay off the streets, and Kiev reveling in the chaos engulfing its enemy. The tide shifted suddenly when Prigozhin made the stunning announcement that his troops were turning their columns around and going back to field camps to avoid bloodshed in the Russian capital. Prigozhin, who has feuded bitterly with Moscow's military leadership even as his outfit led parts of Russia's Ukraine offensive, said he understood the importance of the moment and did not want to spill Russian blood. Conservative leader Kyriakos Mitsotakis won Greece's national elections on Sunday with a clear majority, securing a second term during which he vowed to bring about major reforms to transform the country. With nearly all the votes counted, Mitsotakis' New Democracy Party obtained a score of over 40.5%, well ahead of the leftist Syriza party, led by former Premier Alexis Tsipras, which came in with less than 18%. The margin is the widest for the Conservatives in almost 50 years, as voters rewarded them for nursing Greece back to economic health after a crippling debt crisis. The 55-year-old former McKinsey consultant and Harvard graduate, who steered the EU nation from the coronavirus pandemic back to 2 consecutive years of strong growth, had already scored a thumping win in an election just a month ago. But having fallen short by 5 seats in Parliament of being able to form a single-party government, he refused to try to form a coalition, in effect forcing 9.8 million Greek voters back to the ballot boxes. A roller coaster derailed at a Swedish theme park on Sunday, killing 1 person and injuring 7. According to a correspondent for Swedish television SVT at the Gröna Lund theme park, a carriage of the Jetline roller coaster broke away and fell from a great height, taking several people with it. The ride, launched in 1988, travels at around 90 kilometers per hour. Stockholm police confirmed that 7 people were injured and taken to hospital. Stockholm police spokeswoman Helena Bostrom Thomas said the injuries were caused by falls. She said police received the alert at around 11:39 a.m. with reports of a roller coaster had derailed and several people were injured. The park was evacuated and police and ambulances were sent to the scene. Sports, first ever Olympic champions crowned in Singapore. Stay with us. Kicking off our sports segment today, the first ever Olympic e-sports champions were crowned yesterday after a week of competition in Singapore. Over 130 participants from more than 60 countries across the globe competed in the 10 events which made up the Olympic e-sports series 2023, including archery, baseball, chess, cycling, dance, motorsport, sailing, shooting, taekwondo and tennis. IOC Vice President Sir Myang Ng described the event as an exciting time for everyone and probably a historical moment as well, while David Lapatient, the IOC's eSports Liaison Group Chair, celebrated the inclusivity and gender equality of the event, which allows the IOC to reach new audiences. For his part, IOC Sports Director Kit McConnell noted that engaging with esports is part of 15 strategic goals in the Olympic agenda and is about using technology to reach out to young people around the world to promote the Olympic movement and to promote sport.
Mission impossible, and we see
Senegal defender Kalidou Koulibaly is set to join Saudi Arabian side Al Hilal from Chelsea. The 32-year-old is the second player moving to Al Hilal from the English Premier League after Portugal midfielder Ruben Neves signed from Wolverhampton Wanderers on Friday. In a video posted to Al Hilal's Twitter, Koulibaly met with club president Fahad bin Nafil, signing his contract and being presented with the number 3 club jersey. Koulibaly scored 2 goals in 32 appearances in all competitions for Chelsea after joining them from Napoli last July. The Saudi Pro League has become attractive to Europe-based players since Cristiano Ronaldo moved to Al Nassr last January. League champions Al Ittihad signed Ballon d'Or winner Karim Benzema earlier this month, while the club has also confirmed that former Chelsea midfielder N'Golo Kante is joining them. Al Hilal are the most decorated club in Saudi Arabia and Asia, having won 66 trophies, and they hold the record for the league and Asian champions titles with 18 and 4 respectively. And moving on to tennis, Carlos Alcaraz fired a Wimbledon warning as he comfortably beat Alex de Minaur 6-4, 6-4 to claim the Queen's Club title on Sunday and return to number one in the world rankings. In baking temperatures, the 20-year-old had too much firepower for his wily Australian opponent as he claimed his first grass court title in impressive fashion. It was only Alcaraz's third tournament on grass, but the way he marched through the draw was fitting with his prospects at Wimbledon, where he will be seeded number one. De Minaur, the first Australian to reach the London final since Leighton Hewitt in 2006, had chances for a break of serve when leading 4-3 in the opening set, but could not take them. Alcaraz then broke serve in the following game before wrapping up the set on serve. De Minaur double faulted to hand over a service game early in the second set, and there was no way the Spaniard was going to pass up the opportunity to claim the title. Alcaraz is the fourth Spanish player to win the prestigious pre-Wimbledon tournament and will now hope to emulate Rafael Nadal, who triumphed at Queen's in 2008 before going on to win Wimbledon for the first time a few weeks later. Meanwhile, Novak Djokovic remained the favourite to retain his Wimbledon title. Carlos Alcaraz will be the top seed of the tournament, where he reached the fourth round last year.
Honestly, I have to get more experience on grass. Even if I win the title, I just played 11 matches in my career on grass, so I have to get more experience, more hours, but obviously after beating amazing guys, great players, and the level that I played, I consider myself one of the favorite or one of the players to be able to win Wimbledon.
The way he has taken to grass, winning 10 sets in succession after losing his first of the week at Queen's, should make him a serious contender at the All England club. Tennis great Rafael Nadal and several other players in recent times have gone on to win Wimbledon after conquering Queen's Club, including Andy Murray, Pete Sampras and Leighton Hewitt. Even 22-time Grand Slam champion Nadal took a while to adapt his game to grass, but the speed at which Alcaraz has looked at ease on the surface is astonishing. And over in Germany, Kazakhstan's Alexander Bublik battled his way past third seed Andrei Rublev 6-3, 3-6, 6-3 thanks to two service breaks to win the Hale Open title, his first on grass just over a week before the start of Wimbledon. It was also the 26-year-old's second tour title after his win in Montpellier in 2022. Bublik, ranked 48th in the world, shot out of the blocks and snatched a break on Rublev's very first service game to move 2-love up. With his booming serve proving impenetrable for his opponent, Bublik quickly bagged the first set. Rublev, playing in his second Hale final in 3 years and looking to add to his Monte Carlo title this season, got his revenge when he managed to convert his third break point of the match at 3-2. He held serve to level, but Bublik recovered and went a break up, thanks to a superb backhand cross-court winner at the start of the third set. The Kazakh, who is no stranger to grass with two finals in Newport, did serve a dozen double faults throughout the match, but finished it off in style, firing a second serve ace on his first match point to land his second tour title. Now, two-time Wimbledon champion Petra Kvitova beat Donna Vekic of Croatia 6-2, 7-6 on Sunday to lift the German Open title and confirm her form on grass just over a week before the Grand Slam in London. Now, the 33-year-old Czech, who also beat Vekic en route to victory at the Miami Open this year, earned her 31st career title. The left-hander looked completely at ease on the surface as she captured her sixth title on grass, more than any other active WTA player, in a warning to her rivals ahead of Wimbledon. It is the first time Kvitova has won multiple titles in a single season since 2019, and she has now won 12 of her last 13 matches on grass, dating back to her title run in Eastbourne last season. Kvitova was proved too strong for the Croat in the first set, while the 26-year-old struggled with a forehand. Kvitova found herself a breakdown early in the second set, but battled back from 5-3 and moved 6-5 up with an ace. Vekic, who has shot up the rankings from 69th to 23rd this season, following an Australian Open quarterfinal spot and a title in Monterrey, forced a tiebreak. She was beaten, however, with a thundering Kivtoa forehand on the first match point. And moving on to motorsports, Frenchman Sébastien Ogier won Kenya's Safari Rally on Sunday as his Toyota team swept the top 4 places for the second year in a row. The 8 times world champion, now racing part-time, beat championship leader Kalle Rovanperä of Finland by 6.7 seconds, with Welshman Elfyn Evans a distant third and Japan's Takamoto Katsuta fourth. The win was Ogier's third from 5 starts so far this season. Ogier then hit a tree in the next stage, with the impact ripping off the rear wing and tailgate of his Toyota Yaris, but still went fastest and kept the dust out with a bin bag until reaching the service area. He then cracked his windscreen on the final stage after a dust-choked penultimate run left him 9.2 seconds clear of Rovanperä. Rovanperä extended his championship lead over Hyundai's Thierry Neuville to 37 points, with the Belgian finishing 8th but bagging some precious bonus points with the fastest time in the final power stage. And in MotoGP, Ducati's Francesco Bagnaia won the SNTT on Sunday to extend his lead in the World Championship standings, while pole sitter Marco Bezzecchi finished second, swapping their final positions from Saturday's sprint. Red Bull KTM's Brad Binder had finished third, but just as in the sprint, his podium was snatched away from him from a second time when he was demoted for exceeding track limits, handing third place to Aprilia's Alex Espargaro. Bagnaia probably knows the Cathedral of Speed better than most, and he did not put a foot wrong in hot conditions to take the checkered flag for his 4th race win of the season. Bagnaia moved up to 194 points in the standings and leads Jorge Martin by 35 points, while Bezzecchi is a further point behind. Up front, Bagnaia managed to get past Binder as the duo and Bezzecchi battled it out for the 3 podium spots, trading fastest laps as they extended the gap to the rest of the pack. With 10 laps to go, Bezzecchi launched his attack when Binder was struggling with his rear tyre, and the Italian timed his move to perfection to surge ahead and set his sights on Bagnaia, but could not catch up with his compatriot. Behind them, Binder seemed to have put Saturday's disappointment behind him, but lightning struck twice as he strayed on the wrong side of the curb by inches to give Espargaro the final podium spot.
San, boleh saya bantu?
Hello, there's been a motorcycle accident here. Maybe an elephant ran it over.
Sir, there is fire accident at the address number 5 Jalan Tembikar Shah Alam.
PGO from FRT Shah Alam, there was no fire accident here. Over.
MERS 999. Use it wisely.
And that ends updates at noon today. Wrapping up with a recap of our top story, PM urges investors and financiers to turn to Asia. Tune in to Malaysia Tonight, coming up at 8:30 on saluran Berita RTM. Now, before we go, we'd like to announce that starting the 1st of July, Malaysia Tonight will also be on air on TV1. Thank you for watching. I'm Mohana Priya. Malaysia Madani, tekad perpaduan penuhi harapan.